So another cool thing you can do when DJing is looping. This is something that can help you when you're in a bind and you need to switch out gear sometimes and have something still running. It's also helpful when you just want to add a little like fun drama to your set. It's great when you're transitioning and maybe you don't want to use a certain effect. There's so many things you can do with it, and it's just really cool. So it'll take a chunk of a song that you select, and it'll be something that's either 1 bar or 4 bars or a quarter of a bar, half a bar, or 32 bars. It just depends. But you select what chunk of a song you want to use, and it basically takes that chunk and it repeats it over and over and over, and it loops it. You can do that in really creative ways where you take a larger loop and then you cut it by half, and then you cut that by half, and the loop slowly gets smaller, and you hear the sound just kind of rolling into a smaller version of itself. Or it can continue to loop, and you can do other effects on top of it. You can take certain phrases in songs. Maybe there's a word that you like, or maybe there's a certain sound you like, and you use that loop almost as an instrument to control that sound and make it repeat in different ways, or throw other effects on it to make it a completely different sound. There's just so much you can do with that. One of the basic ways is just to repeat a certain section of a song. So we'll go ahead and do that. So I have Serato hooked up to my CDJs right now, and we're in HID mode, which means I can use the functionality of the CDJ to control the loops on my Serato. I can also do the looping just directly from my computer, which is fun too, but I think it's really cool to be able to use this one button on the CDJ because it will trigger my loop, and then as I continue to push it, it will cut my loop length down over and over. So you can hear it took that chunk of song as soon as I hit the button, as soon as I activated my loop, it took that chunk, and then as I continued to click that button, it made my loop smaller and smaller and smaller until it got this kind of stuttering effect, which it's really fun to do that and then drop right back into your song. It just adds a bit of drama if you want. You can also do that on certain mixers. So without even touching my CDJ, I can set a loop from my mixer. Now on the Pioneer, it's called the roll function. All you have to do is select your channel that you're going to be looping from. And then from there, there's a couple ways that you can activate your loop. You can just push the on and off button for the effect, so it just will pick up, and you select how long of a loop you want. Or you can actually have fun and play on these little buttons, and as you push one, it'll give you a 1 bar loop or a quarter bar loop, and you can just kind of bounce around and jump back into your song, or have your loop going and cut out and jump into a different song. You can do all kinds of things. Use that as you're mixing and slowly transitioning. It's just, the possibilities are endless. So another cool thing you can do is you can actually control on this mixer how much of the loop or whatever effect you're using is heard on top of the music you're playing. So if you want your song to be playing, but then you have this other loop going, it gives it like a whole layer on top of it. So that's a whole other effect you can do. Or you can have it wiped out where all you hear is the loop instead of it being layered. But you just really have so many options to get creative with it. So as you can see, you can do a bunch of fun stuff with looping, and for some reason, people just love it. Crowds love it. It's great if your equipment is doing something weird. This is a little tip that helped me a lot when I was first starting out. I was having trouble with my computer and something wasn't connecting, And all of a sudden I was gonna need to restart my whole computer. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in front of all these people and I can't just not have music playing. I need something playing. So what I did was, as I saw this song I was playing was getting near the end, I took a chunk of it, I took an 8-bar loop, and I had that 8-bar loop going. I was able to unplug my computer. The loop was being run through my mixer. So this mixer itself sampled the sound. I was able to unplug everything. I was able to restart everything, replug it in, and then mix into that loop I had going. So it's such a lifesaver if you're ever in a weird position where maybe some piece of equipment is being kind of funky. Just remember to throw a loop on. So there's so many things you can do with looping, as I've showed you, and there's so many places to start. This is really something that's personal to you and your style, but a great way to start is by finding a part in your song that's like your favorite part, whether it's a vocal, whether it's a word you like, or maybe it's just an instrumental part of it. Maybe you love the intro of it. Take that loop and make it its own thing. Imagine you're making that loop its own song. Start incorporating that into your mixes. As you're changing out of songs, as you're transitioning, it's a really fun way to practice like that. And I think also practicing cutting the loops down versus extending them. Just get creative with it. There's so much you can do. Once you get the basics down, there's really no limit.